Stan Gibilisco here with a little word about writers' workshops. I guess I would just relate my own experience with the only real honest-to-goodness writers' workshop that I attended, and that was in the summer, I believe it was 1989, at the University of Iowa, the Iowa Summer Writing Program. And it was a 2-week event where writers could go and sign up for these sort of like little mini courses or sort of little encounters with well-established authors in a particular genre, and this happened to be the fiction novel. I was writing a fiction novel at the time, never really knew whether I would seriously attempt to get it published or not. As things worked out, I never did. I never even made a serious attempt. I just didn't think it was good enough, but it was a fun place to try and hone my writing skills in general, and I would highly recommend these kinds of events, but you might want to do a little bit of background checking first, because you will receive criticism, and you're going to have to understand that the criticism is intended to make you a better writer. Although once in a while, in some of these events, the criticism from your fellow writers may turn out to be something less than constructive. I did not have that experience at the Iowa Summer Writing Program. When I think back at that program, the thing that I remember the most about it, after all this time, pretty close to 25 years, I believe now it would be, the thing that I remember most, there's two things I remember most. One is going to the swimming pool every day and hanging out. The first week it was blistering hot, up to 104 degrees, and I was there with just a bicycle, and I stayed in a hotel that was on campus. So I had some privacy, and I did my writing in the hotel, but I remember going to that swimming pool and hanging out and working out. And it was an outdoor community swimming pool in Iowa City. And the second week, the weather turned foul. It was rainy and 50 and 60 degrees. So I went to their indoor university pool instead. And I remember that too, walking down the hall to go into that. It was an old pool. It was kind of a venerable old institution. And I remember those two things. Strangely, there's one other thing I remember. And that was that every evening I went to this place, and I had this frozen yogurt, a great big bowl of frozen yogurt with all this fruit in it, probably plenty of sugar too. And that sugar would cause me to have the wildest, craziest dreams. And in one of those dreams, I dreamed that I was back in elementary school and a tornado bore down on the school, and no one was excited but me. Everybody thought I was a fool for being so worked up that this EF5 tornado was bearing down. The tornado ripped through the school and sheared off half of the school building, and we were the last classroom left intact before complete obliteration. And people after that event still couldn't understand why I had become so excited. They laughed at me. That was what was caused by the metabolism of that sugar. Those are the two things I remember about that writer's workshop. I don't remember anything much else except that the book that I wrote never got published. I never seriously tried to get it published, but I did have a good time at that workshop, reading other people's work and just in general feeling literary. I think those days are pretty much behind us, my friends. I think the days of literati are pretty much behind us, and writers of that sort will be more or less like classical music orchestra members. Like, the people who enjoy classical music enjoy playing the instruments, and if they're lucky enough, the equivalent of getting published to be in like the Minnesota symphony orchestra or the Boston Pops or whatever they call those, all these symphony orchestras. I think that's just about it. Writers in that genre are a vanishing breed, my friends, in the hoi polloi hullabaloo of our electronic world, which is just waiting for one rogue solar flare to put an end to all that bullshit. Stan Gibilisco signing off. Until next time, sleep tight. Don't dream about any tornadoes. So long.